Hello and welcome to the We Recommend podcast. This is a movie podcast where every week we recommend a movie for you to watch and then come back here to listen to us talk about. I'm Jesse.
And I'm Jason.
And today we recommend The Thing.
Hope you're Mac ready. I don't give a fuke.
So, The Thing is a movie directed by John Carpenter, and it was made in 1982. John Carpenter, the director of Halloween, They Live, just a few little movies that you probably never heard of. So, when's the first time you watched The Thing?
I guess today, since I watched the whole thing.
This is your first time watching
it today.
The whole time?
Yeah.
Wow. Oh my gosh. I mean, I guess I'm not much better. I watched it maybe when I was 19. Probably one of the last few movies that actually made me like scream out loud.
Yeah.
Especially being an adult. I was like, wow, okay. Especially since, as I've been recommending horror movies, I watch a bunch. So it's kind of weird that any of them would make me really scared.
Yeah, no, I really did enjoy. I didn't think I was going to enjoy the monster.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Well, I mean, it's the most insane monster ever.
It's awesome.
Like the movie. So this was John Carpenter's first like big budget movie. I mean, it was only $15 million, but I guess in 82, that's a lot more.
Compared to a lot of 80s movies, this holds up.
Yeah. Well, so like Halloween made for like, I think it was like $300K, $500K, something like that. It was less than Friday the 13th and looks 1,000 times better than. And that was made with $700K. And then like he gets like $1 million to do, what was it? The Fog.
Oh, yeah.
And pretty much like his next few movies are all done with like $1 million budgets, $2 million budgets. And then I think he got a little bit more on Escape from New York. Have you seen that one?
I haven't.
Oh, man. Don't worry. We'll get to it. That's one of my favorite movies.
I've heard it's really good.
That's like the first time him and Kurt Russell came together.
They came together.
Why do I always gotta say like the weirdest, everything in the weirdest way. But yeah, so I guess while making this movie, he was like, they're determining whether to do special effects or like visual, just like practical effects with the monster. And they decided to do practical effects. And they're like, let's spend as little on everything as possible. So like all of the actors aren't super well known, I guess, at this point. I mean, this is Keith David's first movie.
Oh, wow.
And he later comes up in They Live, where him and Roddy Rowdy Piper have that awesome fight scene. Have you seen They Live?
I don't remember.
Oh.
I know. My memory is terrible.
But yeah, so anyways, they instead of like spending a lot of money on actors and I guess like the set, they mainly were like, let's put as much money into the visual effects. It's like, let's put it all into the monster because
Nice.
John Carpenter was a big fan of monster movies growing up. And he's like, even though they're all bad, I loved them all. And it's like, even though and the creatures all look bad, and it's like, he never understood why. It's like, why not put all your resources into the monsters,
Yeah, great idea, John.
And he was
Loved
like,
it.
I don't want this to be a man in a suit. He's like, I want this to just be like a practical effects monster that's like controlled by a bunch of people. Because he said, I think he was talking about Alien. And he's like, it's like, I love the movie, but the worst part of the movie is I can tell it's just a guy walking around in a suit. Like, oh, which this is kind of similar to the Alien a little bit, except for the whole like impersonating people and being replicas of them.
Yeah.
It was composed by Ennio Morricone, who's like this famous composer. He did The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, like that
Sweet.
trilogy.
Yeah.
And so this is John Carpenter's first movie where he didn't compose himself at this point.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Which is funny because the composer didn't really know. It's like, wasn't sure what he wanted. So he's like, I'll just try to do something similar to what John Carpenter would do. It's find that funny. It's like you hire this very famous composer and it's like, I'll just do what the guy usually does. But I guess parts of the Do you know the movie The Hateful Eight with Quentin Tarantino?
Yeah.
I guess he used parts of unused parts of the score for The Thing in that movie, apparently, which is awesome. I think he won the Oscar that year for music. But yeah, I guess let's just hop into the movie.
Do the sweet jumps right in there.
Obviously, it stars Kurt Russell, Keith David's in it. Playing Childs, you have Wilford Brimley.
Yes.
Is Dr. Blair. And then everybody else is kind of really unknown actors that I don't know much about.
The Mustache King outshines them all.
Yeah. But I guess we should probably go through the characters' names for a second, just so, because there's 12 people total.
Yeah, it's a lot to keep track of.
Yeah, it really is. But then slowly they start dwindling down.
Yeah, it makes it a lot easier.
You got Kurt Russell. He's McCready. Keith David's Childs. Then you have, I don't know the actor's name, but it's you got Norris, you got Blair, the doctor, you got Bennings. He's the redheaded guy that's kind of balding. Yeah. Then you have Knowles. He's the guy that roller skates. And then you got Dr. Cooper. He's the other doctor instead of Blair. He's the one that loses his hands.
Yes.
And also randomly has a nose ring in, which is kind of
super
funny.
Awesome. Rebel.
Then you got Palmer. He's the guy that likes to smoke weed. You got Windows, the communications guy. You got Clark, the dog wrangler. And then I think that's and then you got Fuchs, who's like a assistant biologist doctor to Blair, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's about all that's in it. I think that's the few people. I don't think I left anybody out. Yeah, that's it.
I would have loved to have seen the packing list for this shelter that they have.
Yeah, no, right?
That's so much cool.
How many
stuff.
flares you need? About 30,000 crates of them. We're gonna use them.
And some roller skates.
Yeah. It's please, can I have some roller skates? I can't cook unless I roller skate. And it's we'll need about 20 flamethrowers. 5,006 of dynamite, because you never know you. And so, what do you do in Antarctica? I know it's considered a place where it's free for the countries to go there, but you're not allowed to, you can't go to war with anybody there or something. It's it's completely free, and it's completely peaceful. You're not allowed to go there and fight another.
It's also
group of people.
Completely fucking cold.
Yeah, it's what? I'm just curious. When people go to Antarctica, it's what do they go there to study?
No, they do a lot of geological studies there.
Yeah,
study the oceans that are underneath the ice. Some are even encapsulated in ice.
Yeah,
there's these whole creatures, and they can do testing there that they can't do anywhere else because it requires high temperatures, and so it lowers the temperature.
Cool.
Stuff like that.
Well, after watching this movie, I don't think anybody would want to go there. All right, so the movie opens up. We see a really good-looking CGI UFO.
Super
He's
sweet.
Going to Earth and catches on fire, and then I guess crash lands into Earth. It just happened to be on the South Pole, I think. South Pole, yeah. Yeah, because I know this is it's considered a remake of because there was a movie before called The Thing. This is supposed to be a remake, but they don't consider it a remake as much. And I guess the original takes place in the North Pole, and this one takes place in the South Pole.
Santa Claus.
And then we have the Thing title screen pop up. And so the way that they created this, I guess they used the exact same way that they created it in the original movie. It's where they have I guess they cut out the word "the Thing," and then behind it they have a trash bag. And so they just catch the trash bag on fire, and then it reveals The Thing in the title. I thought that was pretty cool.
That is cool.
So then we start off, we see that we're in a frozen tundra area, and we see a helicopter flying around and a dog running around. And for whatever reason, this helicopter is shooting at a little puppy.
Oh, yeah. And your first thought is, why are you shooting that dog, you fucking animal?
I know.
No, but I loved how it said, when the helicopter flew through, it was Antarctica, winter.
winter.
It's super cold
It's
here.
like, hey, guess what? It's always winter in Antarctica, guys.
Okay, sorry. Back to shooting dogs.
And then while they're shooting the dogs, we cut to McCready, played by Kurt Russell. He is playing chess. And then I guess he loses and just destroys the chess machine.
Because he's a badass.
Dude, you still got like 6 months left. What are you doing, man? You're going to immediately regret that. And then we see that the Norwegians are throwing bombs down now at the dog. Everybody's coming out of the camp that they're staying at and like wondering what the heck is going on. Then the helicopter lands. The guy grabs a grenade and he goes to throw it at the dog, but when he throws his hand back, it just slips out of his hand. And instead of just running away, he just like jumps on it, trying to find it. It's like, dude, just get out of there. Maybe try to explain to the group of people why you're trying to kill the dog.
Yeah.
But then the dog's like running to the group. He's starting to lick everybody. Like the Nords start shooting at them and or the Norwegians. Bennings gets shot in the leg. And then Gary, the captain of the group, he shoots the Norwegians. And then we learn that it's the first week of winter. Because once this happens, like McCready's like, it's the first goddamn week of winter. And so they're just kind of hanging around talking about like what to do, like why the heck this is happening. They're thinking it might be cabin fever or something. And then they decide that they need to go to the Norwegian camp.
Did they get a distress call from them?
No. They're just like, well, we have to see what's going on. Maybe they just went crazy, so they want to see if there's anybody else that they can kind of protect. Then we just see Mac and Cooper, Dr. Cooper. They end up going to the Norwegian camp, and we see that there is it's like all blown up.
Yeah,
and it's
like
fucked up. Caught on fire. It's funny, they actually used they shot this scene after they blew up the camp that they're at.
Oh, nice.
And it's the exact same camp. They just used it after it was blown up.
Smart.
And Mac and Cooper, they end up finding like a body.
Yeah, and the blood is
frozen like,
as it's dripping. It's so cold, guys.
It's like, how did it get that cold?
It's so dang cold here.
And then like we're cutting back to the American camp, and we see that the dog is just kind of hanging around camp. And we see that it goes into someone's room. There's just like, you just see the shadow on the wall of like a figure, which this is a part where this is the first person that's getting changed, I'm assuming. And it's got to be either Palmer, the guy that smokes weed, or Norris, who's just, I don't know, he wears like a turtleneck sweater.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not sure which one it is. I was thinking Palmer, but
this is the height of the Dare era, I think.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure it was the old pothead.
Yeah. Well, I know I was reading up a little bit, and people are assuming that it's probably Norris.
Okay.
I guess because that Palmer acts a little more human.
Gotcha.
Later on, and we don't really see much of Norris until we really get a lot of Norris. And you see that like Palmer is like smoking weed with Childs. But then maybe that's when Childs gets turned. Who knows? Mm-hmm. If Child does get turned.
Like herpes.
And then McCready, they're all still searching through the place. Cooper's grabbing like evidence and stuff, like videos. And I mean, to them, this has to be, to Cooper, it just seems like a super exciting thing because he's like, oh, papers to read. Yes, videos to watch. I can't wait. More research. And then McCready goes, like, after they find some of the paperwork, he goes and searches, and then they find this giant block of ice that has, like, looks like something bursted out of it, essentially.
Hell yeah.
They're like, well, what happened? It's like, where did they find this, you know? And then they go to walk outside to leave, and they end up finding, like, a burned up, deformed, like, humanoid type creature.
Yeah.
With, like, two faces.
Oh, yeah, with the two faces?
Yeah.
Did they say when the UFO crashed?
Oh, yeah, a little later when they're researching, he's like, oh, this looks like it's been here for 100,000 years.
Good round number.
How they got there, I don't know.
Okay. All right.
It's like, yeah, this is probably 100,000 years, you know.
Mm.
They decided to bring back the body to the camp, you know. Classic mistake. And then you have like the dog watching them as they're coming back to camp. You can just see that the dog, he's thinking.
Thinking dog.
So they perform like a Blair. He's performing an autopsy on the creatures. Oh, it's normal. It's human.
Yep.
And I love it's just a normal human cuts to its two faces. It's like, you got that right.
Totally normal, guys.
And then like the dog's just been running around for like a day and a half, I think.
Where is the dog wrangler? He should be on this.
I know. He's just like letting them run free. I guess though I will say he does kind of love the dogs more than he loves the people.
Yeah. He has special treatment.
But yeah, I guess like Bennings is like, get that dog out of here, because he's like all grumpy and hurt. It bumps his leg. And Clark the dog wrangler goes to put up the dogs. And I love this scene.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's so awesome.
It's so creepy. Like this dog, apparently this dog performer was great. And John Carpenter loved him. He just said he never looked at the camera. He did everything he was supposed to. We never took more than like 3 takes for this dog. He was perfect. And I just love like the way the dog like walks in. He's looking off camera. There's obviously like someone standing there, but he's like so focused and intent and just like laying down and being creepy. And then he starts growling and his face splits open like a banana peel.
So awesome.
And then like the skeleton of his head falls out and you just see his tongue running around. Tentacles flying all over the place. One dog's so scared it's chewing like the chain off. Every time I see that, I'm like, it physically hurts me to see that.
Scared.
It's just like,
like, then he gushes all over that dog. He's like,
yeah. Oh, and the dog looks so scared. I hope the dog was okay.
I love that shot of just the liquid coming out. It was so funny. The dog was pissed. He just got gushed on.
And then, so like McCready pulls the fire alarm. Everybody runs in. He tells Bennings to go get the fire extinguisher, or not fire extinguisher, the flamethrower.
Mm-hmm.
And I love when Bennings comes in. It's like Benning goes into Child's room. He's like, Child's, McCready wants you. He wants you to bring the flamethrower. Child's like, what the what? It's just so funny.
We finally get to use the flamethrower.
It's like, what the heck is going on? We got to have a flamethrower?
There's a lot of brush in Antarctica, I guess.
But they go in. McCready's starting to shoot like the monster. And it's like you see like what a dog's like just essentially like oozing and like, I don't know, it's almost like he got acid shot on him. He's grabbing others, like just wrapping his tentacles around him.
Yeah.
McCready shoots the dog. Clark's like, no. It's so gross. It's awesome.
It is awesome. It's so awesome.
And then like 2 arms pop out of that alien.
I have a question about this part.
Yeah.
There's like 6 people in the room at this point.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't set him on fire yet.
Mm-mm. No, well, Childs hasn't got there yet.
They're watching this thing crawl, like this thing come out of this dog's body, reach him to the sky or to the ceiling and crawl out of the ceiling into who knows.
Yeah.
And then he comes and then guy comes back in and burns him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nobody says anything about the monster that crawled into the ceiling.
Yeah. Oh, well, I guess he's like, because that's what, whenever he shows it, it does look like he's about to go in the ceiling, but I guess he's just raising himself up instead of going through the ceiling. Unless like a part of him went up there. Maybe that's how he gets to it. Like it does look like he straight up goes in there.
It crawls up in there.
Yeah.
And they watch this happen, but nobody says anything.
I guess it's technically not supposed to have been crawling through the ceiling. He's just supposed to be hanging there.
Okay.
And I'm just assuming it's like an editing mishap or, you know.
I want to rewatch that
continuity.
scene in a little bit.
And then Childs runs in there. He's about to flamethrow him. And then he's like hesitating. And then like a giant, like, it almost looks like a flower's blooming out of it that has like giant teeth.
Yes.
And then he flamethrows him. But they mess up because they fire extinguish him a little too soon.
Oh.
So they didn't burn him long enough.
Oh, man.
Which is why, like, later in the movie, McCready's like, they're like, we need to fire extinguish him because he's, you know, burning in our thing. And he's like, wait.
Yeah, give it a sec.
And then we get the dope. Blair performs the autopsy on it.
Yeah.
And you just like, it sounds so gross. Apparently they used like egg yolks and something else to make the noise. So it's just like,
yeah, it's great.
And then you see
Sound
like this
design.
giant deformed like dog/horse looking skeleton coming out of him. It's so cool.
Maybe if they would have waited, he would have become a horse instead of a dog.
I'd like to see that. The Thing, but with horses.
Horse with the dog head too. Also dog head.
So we find out that the Thing is digesting creatures so that it can imitate them. And then Blair, he's so he's like Blair's doing something with the dogs, like giving them like to let them rest or whatever, or just taking their blood, something like that. And like he's like, Clark, how long has that dog been out? He's like, oh, he's been out the whole time. He's like, what? And he's like, how long have you spent with that dog? And this begins like Blair's just thinks that Clark's definitely one of them.
Cuts back to the dog just looking in his face.
Yeah.
Like it getting in his mouth and stuff.
Yeah.
Why? What's wrong?
Yeah, I mean, well, when the dog does like come there, like when we see him getting shot, he is licking someone's face. I don't remember seeing whose face it was that he was licking. Oh man, what if it was Norris or Palmer?
I hate to bastardize dog licks.
I don't like dog licks, actually. I have 2 dogs, and I do not let them lick me. One's breath smells like a fart. The other breath smells like poop because he eats it, which is
thanks for... You probably told me that before.
I tell you every single time you come to my house, and every single time you let my dogs lick your hand.
Oh, shit. Okay, well, I washed my hands.
Good thing you wash your hands.
I did. God, gross.
So then we catch up with them. They're watching a video of the Norwegians blowing up some ice. And then Mac and Norris and someone else go. I don't know who the third one is because he's like completely covered head to toe in clothes. They go and they search the site and they end up finding this ginormous UFO. And I love this scene because it's like, I can't remember who because they use like matte painting, to instead, because, they didn't use green screen back then. They just use matte painting. And it looks so dope. You can tell it's fake, but it's like, and then they even like do it where it looks like they're walking on it, which is amazing.
Yeah, that was cool.
So they find the UFO, and then they also find like where they dug up the giant brick of ice. And this is where I find out it's like 100 years old.
100,000?
100,000 years old, yeah. So they go back to the camp. They're discussing. Childs is like, there is no UFO here. What are y'all talking about? Y'all are crazy. Knowles, the chef, he finds like a ripped up shirt like in his trash can. So we know that at least
it might be the Hulk Hogan.
So it's either Norris's pajamas. I don't think it's Palmer's yet, and it could be Blair's. But Blair still kind of acts like a human now, so we don't really. It may just be the one person that met the dog. And then we see something I love about like 80s and like early sci-fi movies is the old tech.
Yeah.
Where it's you got no internet service or anything. You're on like the first computer that's ever been invented, and it's running a simulation of what like 2 different cells would be doing.
Hell yeah,
like
it does.
An alien cell and another cell. It's like, and it comes up with like the perfect mathematical percentage of like, there's a 75% chance one or more of you are replicated, whatever how you say it. And that in 27,000 hours, the world would be taken over at first contact.
Sick. I played that game, Plague.
Plague? Yeah, I love that game.
It only takes about 30 minutes. Though.
Yeah. It's like, I don't think, you always had to like buy it because there's like the app version on your phone. Yeah. And there's always like a very like limited version on the phone. But it's like, I've always wanted to play that game. I just need to buy it one day. It's on the Switch.
It's great for when you just hate the world and you want to, kill everyone.
It might be a little too, hit a little too close to home.
No, I named
past recent years.
My last virus was named after COVID.
Yeah. So then, we got McCready. He's just drinking. He's being called into like I guess this like storage room to move his stuff. We see Bennings and Windows are clearing out a storage room. We see that the charred body, like the double-headed charred body, is in the room. Windows is looking at it. He covers it up, but then we start seeing it moving because a part of it's still alive. Windows leaves the room, but we see Fuchs he wants to talk to McCready outside because he's like, look, Blair thinks this thing's still alive. Like, the thing's still alive in there. Blair's acting strange. Then we see that Windows comes back in and Bennings is being lathered up and having a bunch of tentacles inside him. And he's starting to get taken over. Windows goes and grabs everybody.
I love the gross tentacles. They're just like pink and like
so gross.
Look like parasites.
Yeah.
Just
like, it's like I don't really fully understand how like it seems like it just, well, I guess later we see like the thing just put his hand in someone's face and starts taking him over. I guess this as soon as like he gets him near his body, it just starts absorbing him.
Yeah.
Kinda. And then so like Mac and Fuchs, they run in with Windows and we see that everything looks like nothing happened in the storage room, but we see that the window is crashed open. We see someone running. And then like they chase after him and it's just Bennings. And I love the shot where he's just like, he's kneeling on the ground. He's got like his two alien hands. And then he just looks up and is like, it's so cool. It's just like the noises. I forgot what type of noises they use for the voice, but man, it's just so iconic.
Yeah.
Just like this weird scream that it does. But sadly, Bennings has to die and they burn him. They flamethrow him.
Oh, no.
But they're having a hard time finding Blair. They're looking for him. And McCready notices that he's like trashing the helicopter. And he's like completely rips it out. And then he starts hearing gunshots. When you see that he's flipping out in the control room.
So hard.
Just like, no one's getting out of here. It ain't me. It could be any one of y'all. We're all going to die here. And then they end up like knocking him out, taking him into a room, like I guess like an outside storage room. Blair's talking to him. It's like, watch Clark. We can't trust Clark. Watch him closely. Like, poor Clark.
I know.
He just loved dogs, and now everybody thinks he's an alien. So they're kind of standing outside. They're talking. They're determining. It's like, how do we know who is what? Like, who's like it could be any of us. If we're a perfect replica, how do we know?
Because these guys, they make perfect replicas.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen the dog.
Yeah.
That was a nice one.
I know. It seems like the in-between, like right before, like as soon as it starts trying to assimilate one of them, it's the ugliest possible thing you'll ever see.
Yeah, it's gross.
But once it forms back together, it's perfect. I mean, you might have like 800 elbows inside your stomach or something, but just a perfect replica. Cooper, the doctor, is like, oh, I have this like blood serum test. We just got to get the real blood. So they run in and you just see blood all over the ground. They open the refrigerator and all the blood has been completely destroyed. And then it becomes this big fight on who did it.
It was the second who done it.
Yeah. Then you have McCready. He's all right. Who had access to it? Cooper's like, I have access to it, but I don't have the key. Gary, the captain, has the key. And then, they all start fighting and just accusing one another. And then Windows decides to like run away to go get a gun. And then they kind of have a little fight. Ends up like everybody's like, okay, we have to stop. And Gary's like, okay, obviously I can't be in charge anymore. Y'all will not trust me. And that's when McCready becomes the leader of the group.
Mm-hmm. Is this when he starts wearing his cowboy hat constantly?
No, he's been wearing that throughout.
The whole time.
It's not even, it's like a giant sombrero.
Yeah, what even is that?
It's so iconic.
Why does he have it?
I don't know.
Where did it come from? Why isn't he wearing protective headgear for the cold snow?
Yeah, everybody wears like hoods and stuff. He's like, nah, all I need is a giant weird looking sombrero.
Yeah, but he never wears it. He just like, he can't cover up those luscious locks.
Yeah, it's like, I guess he has so much hair. He's just like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, right.
The cold can't get through this.
I'd rather be beautiful.
So they take all the blood outside, they burn it.
They're like, I know we got bad blood.
Taylor Swift comes out. She's the thing.
She's the thing.
So they're kind of talking outside while they're burning the blood, and they come to the conclusion. It's like, okay, well, we have to tie up Gary, Cooper, and Clark, and we got to morphine them.
Sweet.
We cut to Mac. He's like making an audio log. He's talking about like how he thinks it rips through the clothes whenever it like assimilates with them and like becomes them. So if you find any ripped clothing, it's probably going to be them.
If you see anyone wearing a new T-shirt.
Yes. If they change clothes at all, kill them. We see that Fuchs is coming up with a test, but like all the lights kind of go out. But Fuchs is also like, everybody should make their own food and eat out of cans only. If like one little cell gets on you or
alien goop.
Yeah, anything. Like any blood gets inside you, apparently it can just take over you completely.
And then they're like, they just started getting worried about blood in their food.
Yeah.
Like, whoa.
Yeah. So then we see that like the lights are going out in the lab. Fuchs, and there's like a shadow that crosses as he's like kind of looking around. He goes outside and he sees that he's got like a mat. One of McGreedy's shirts or like bags or something has been ripped up.
Yeah, it was like his satchel.
Yeah. So now we got to think that maybe McGreedy is the thing. And we cut to the gang. They're trying to split up. Mac, Windows, and Knowles go together. Palmer and Childs team up. And then Norris is there watching the three tied up men.
They had to fight about it first.
Yes, they fight about it.
They fight about everything.
That's the thing. I was thinking like, so if we cut to like the end of the movie and it's just McGreedy and Childs together, and we know that soon Palmer is going to be a thing. I was like, maybe, well, no. Because Childs still isn't turned yet because we're about to do the blood test. So never mind. Forget everything I just said. I'm thinking while I'm going. But at this point, Norris should be one of the things. So it should be Norris now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to go with that.
Yeah, I think so. So
then it gets, but it's blood party time.
Yeah. Well, first they go because they're trying to find Fuchs.
Oh.
Matt goes and talks to Blair. Blair is like pleading to come back inside. We don't know if he's normal yet or if he's turned into the thing. We see that like he made a noose inside.
just the noose.
Yeah. Part of me thinks that like
it was for masturbating.
Yeah, it's definitely masturbating. He's like, well, I ain't got anything else to do in here.
Right? It's so cold.
I was thinking like maybe he's already changed now. He secretly has that tunnel underneath him. And he like put up the noose to make it look like he's still human.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. That's just a theory.
I mean, that's a good one. Most humans do that.
Yeah. They're looking around. They find that Fuchs' body is like burned. And they're like, why would the thing do that? It's like, I think he did it to himself.
Nice.
Then like Mac tells Windows to go back in. Knowles and Mac goes to Mac's room because he's like, well, when I left yesterday, I turned my light off.
And you see the light is on.
Yes. Bum, bum, bum.
Dun, dun, dun.
So we cut back inside. I guess they've been gone for like nearly an hour. And like the gang's just like, all right, start closing all outside doors. They're gone. They're not getting back in. But
I loved how McGreedy, before they left, he's like, everyone back here in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Or else. And then he's the first one to break his rule.
First one, not there.
He didn't care.
They should have immediately came back from Blair and just been like, all right, in 20 more minutes, if I'm not back, then you can lock me out.
Sure.
So we see Null. He comes back. He's got McGreedy's ripped up shirt. He finds his ripped up shirt and he's like, I've been trying to get away from him. I cut the line. So now everybody thinks McGreedy's the...
Make sure you bring back to the packing list. 25 T-shirts.
Yeah.
Rippable, like terrible T-shirts.
I know. Make sure they're very easy to rip. We got to know if someone's an alien.
We're going to do a lot of WrestleMania stuff on here.
Yeah. Mac ends up getting back into the building. He holds everybody up with a flare and some dynamite, saying he's going to blow everybody up if we don't stop. He gets ambushed by Knowles and Norris. Like they try to jump him, but he throws them off. I will say, out of all these people, they're terrible at grabbing people.
Yeah.
Like every time they try to go grab somebody, it's like if someone just moves, they're like, and then sadly, I guess Norris just has a heart attack. I don't know. He's been like holding his stomach and like
he was like, ugh.
Like this is, which that's kind of a weird part in the movie where I'm thinking like, it's like, so he has them in him, but he's acting like strange that he's like,
He's
Oh,
got
I'm
a tummy
hurting.
ache
Yeah.
from eating all the Campbell's soup.
It's like, I'm just wondering, it's like, if the thing takes over your body and it replicates it, it's like, oh, well, if you have a bad heart, can the thing still kind of die like that a little bit or
No, I
something?
think the thing would be smarter than that. He's like,
It's just
because
like
he
a
wants
weird
to
part where
live.
I'm like, or I'm just assuming maybe he's faking it. I don't know.
Or maybe the thing replicated him and then spent like 20 years having a bad diet and no exercise.
Yeah. Actually, I think I just convinced myself that it's the alien is just playing dead. It's like maybe it's kind of shut itself off and just waiting for like help. So like maybe if they don't try to use the defibrillator on him, like maybe he would just like pretend to stay dead the whole time.
But so this kind of like, for me, this supports my theory that the thing didn't replicate him. He was just taking over his body from the inside.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
maybe
that's
he's
not
like,
really replicating. I mean,
maybe he's just like hiding in him, possibly.
yeah, just like maybe that was just like the beginning stages of his replication. But he's like replacing his organs with alien thingy
Yeah,
organs.
like slowly instead of being like out in the open.
Yeah.
That's a good theory. I think that could work. You know what? That's fact, actually. You just got adjacent fact. But we see they're all arguing. McCready's still got his dynamite in his hand. Like, because they all have Norris on a like an operating table type thing. And like everybody's like just waiting for their moment to jump McCready. And he's got a giant flamethrower with his dynamite. We see Clark grab a scalpel. They're all arguing, but we have Cooper who's just trying to resuscitate Norris.
Yeah, I loved it when he opened up his shirt and then slammed one fist onto the chest.
Yeah.
Like this medical doctor.
It's like, you nailed it, guy. It's like, it's trying to do like get his heart going. They get a defibrillator. Nailed it that time. And then on his like second go, lifts his hands way up, pushes it down on him. And just Norris has a giant mouth for his stomach now.
Yes.
This has got to be the best monster.
That's
though.
So cool.
Oh, the transformation where it's like you see Norris's actual head, but then coming out of him is like a weird deformed Norris's head. It's like a bunch of spider looking legs.
Oh, sweet.
And then like they're starting to catch him on fire, but Norris's like actual head's like coming off and like falling on the ground,
bubbling out.
Yeah.
This Cronenberg looking thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
But then the doctor's arms, I guess, why did they go into the stomach?
Well, because he's like pushing down the defibrillator. I guess he's gonna push it real hard.
Yeah,
it looks like he's about to just like punch him with the defibrillators.
Right, you don't put him there.
Yeah,
well, it doesn't matter.
But
his arms end up in the teeth, in the belly mouth.
Yeah,
and it bites down.
Yeah,
and I guess as he tries to pull away, his very, very weak skin and joints just slip away from the rest of his body. It's not even like the monster bit them off. It just kind of vice gripped them.
Yeah, and I guess they during the scene, whenever his arms are off, they use like a double amputee.
Oh, sweet.
Like guy to do that scene. I was like, oh, that's cool.
Good for him.
So like the head is like secretly like transforming into like a little spider head.
It slides off the back of the body.
Yeah.
It just like down to the floor.
A little tentacle comes out of his mouth, like whips onto something.
Spider-Man's his way over a few feet.
It's so
with
cool.
his tongue.
Then it's making that great noise.
Yeah.
It's so awesome. And then we see it run out of the room and like everybody sees it.
Yep, sprouts spider legs.
It's kind of cute at the same time.
It's kind of cute.
It's like, oh.
It's like you hear your dog walking down a floor, walking down the hallway.
It's like if it wasn't trying to kill you, just be like, oh.
And if it didn't have those weird eye things coming out, holy cow, it looked like a crab, face crab.
But because Palmer turns around, it's like his dope accent. You gotta be fucking kidding. It's so funny.
And then they torch it.
They torch
the shit out of it. Yeah. But it looks like It looks like it's on a string, just dangling.
Yeah.
Like you would shake a Halloween spider to scare someone. It's just like,
Yeah. Apparently, they made it like out of a flammable material. So as soon as they shot it, it would just kind of like spread everywhere.
Yeah, that's cool.
It looks so good. And so they're all back in the room talking and arguing. Yeah, I guess McCready comes up with his own little blood test. Clark's in there. He wants to tie everybody up. But Clark's kind of getting a little anxious. And it's like, oh, no, you're right, McCready. Yeah. Let's do what you say. Comes at him with a scalpel, gets shot right in the head.
Shot in the face.
And then this
guy's serious. I wasn't so sure when he had the dynamite, but now that he's shot someone, I'm like, okay,
yeah,
we'll do it. We'll do it your way.
He's gonna do it. Yeah. Oh yeah, because Childs at this point is like, he doesn't trust McCready. He's like, you won't do it. You won't kill us all. And he's like, you want to test me? He's like, okay, he's serious. And then he shoots Clark, and it's like, he's definitely serious. And so this is probably the most painful and gross part. We see him cutting people's thumbs.
He's taking samples of people's blood to test it.
And instead of just doing a little bit of a prick.
Anywhere on the body.
He does this. They do giant cuts on their thumbs.
Oh, God.
Guess they have no video games to play there, so it should be fine.
Or they don't use their hands for anything.
I know.
Good Lord.
So you literally cut anywhere else on their body, but he does it there. It's the worst. But the point is, he's thinking that because every piece of the organism is its own animal. So like every drop of blood is its own animal. So he thinks that if you touch hot wire to the blood, it'll react. And I don't know. It might. Who knows, right?
It's not bad. He's kind of a scientist, right? Isn't he?
Yeah. Well, so I guess he's technically. They did write like a backstory for him. He's supposed to be he used to be a soldier who was like discharged because of an injury, and I guess he lived with the shame of not, staying and fighting.
Okay.
And he has like PTSD, and he's a drunk. That
makes sense.
And that's all.
And he got kicked out of the military. He wouldn't stop wearing that stupid hat.
Yeah, they're like, dude, we're in a desert. You're wearing a bright blue sombrero. What are you doing?
The hat.
You're too obvious. We see the sombrero. He's here. So first, he gets Windows blood clear. Then he clears his own self. This is the part where people are like, dude, this isn't real. This isn't working. Mm-hmm. He's just doing this because he knows that he's the thing. Then he clears Doc and Clark. And this is where Child's like, I guess that makes you a murderer. Even though Childs was like, let's just kill McCready. Whenever he's like outside, let's kill him. Yeah. Like, bro, hypocrite. And then he goes and while they're fighting, he just puts his in Palmer. And then,
and I shit myself.
We see the blood fall on the ground. It's like skittering away.
Oh, God, that scared me so bad.
And then Palmer's just gooing up. I don't even know how to explain it. He's like slowly just, I don't know, pussing up, blood spewing out of him.
Yep.
You have Gary and Child still on the bench with him. They're like, get me off of this.
Yeah, they're tied together.
What are you doing?
This dude is... I'll be so scared.
I know. It's like...
And they're hopping away in their chairs.
Yeah, they're trying to get away. And then Palmer flies up to the ceiling. I guess that's a thing that they could do.
Yep.
McCready's flamethrower's not opening. So Windows goes to try to flamethrow him, but then just stops because you see I don't know, Frankenstein looking creature now.
Yeah, it's like a
head splits open.
Yeah, like a Venus flytrap, and just
grabs onto Windows and just starts flopping him around. Yeah, it's so awesome.
It was really awesome.
Yeah, it's
throwing him around like a rag doll.
I think this is, I don't know, it's probably the best scene of the movie. I think it's in terms of just the suspense of it all, and I don't know, it's so perfect.
It was pretty cool.
Mac ends up flamethrowing him. He finally gets his flamethrower to work, and then the monster runs outside and throws dynamite. Apparently, so it's like the dynamite was so powerful, and Kurt Russell didn't know that it actually blew him back in real life.
Oh shit!
It almost I guess if he was any closer, it probably killed him. But apparently, he was okay. But
crap!
He did not expect it to be as strong as it was.
Who was their pyrotechnics technician?
I don't know.
Just some guy.
It's the 80s. Maybe not even had one. But then Mac finishes the blood test. Niles, Childs, Gary, and Gary are clear. And once they do Gary last, and I love it. It's probably like one of my other favorite lines. Like after he clears them, he's just like calmly, "I know you gentlemen have been through a lot, but when you find the time, I'd rather not spend the rest of the winter tied to this fucking couch." So good.
Hold on, pal.
But then they split up again.
Smart.
Stop splitting up. It's goddamn Scooby-Doo up in here.
You gotta cover more ground.
So Mac, Knowles, and Gary, they go to get Blair, but they realize that he's not there. They tell Childs, like, if you see Blair, like, roast him. Just don't. If he comes back and I'm not there, get him. But then they find that underneath the shed that he's been storing in, there's like a tunnel.
Yep.
Leading to a giant room.
Dug out of snow.
He's building a spaceship.
He's building a spaceship. So nobody, I love how like nobody has been watching this guy carry these huge metal objects into his tiny little shack and pulling them down through the hole in the floorboards.
I know.
And into his little special room.
I want to know how long he's been doing this. It had to be like a couple nights, right?
Yeah, how long? At least a couple.
It's like... So that's what makes me think like, oh, Blair had to be like changed when McCready goes and visits him the second time, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I want to go inside now."
Yeah,
or maybe he starts doing it like right after that. Maybe, but that would only give him like a night or two.
Maybe he built it out of those Campbell's soup cans.
Yeah, that's probably what it was. Yeah. I mean, thing is like, I don't know if the storage like room had all this stuff or what, but he's got like blow torches and everything's like, y'all didn't clear all that? Like, how did he do this?
Everybody needs a blowtorch. So that's just part of living there.
Yeah. But they decide they throw dynamite down first they see that Childs ran out of the main facility and that the generator turns off, which we'll later find that the generator has been destroyed. And then Matt comes to the conclusion that it's like, oh, the thing wants to freeze now. Because if he freezes, whenever rescue comes and get them, he'll end up thawing once they get him. But they end up blowing up the whole place, like the storage unit.
So much time.
And then they going through the whole facility, just burning it down.
Yeah.
And then they're like, all right, we got to go to the generators. They find out it's not working.
And so maybe it's because of all the dynamite.
Yeah, right. And then so they start planting dynamite everywhere to just finally blow the whole thing up at once. Gary kind of separates himself from him. And this is when we just see Blair come up to him and just put his entire hand in his face.
Just like, it was like under his lips.
Yeah.
It is like just start going under the skin.
Yeah, it's so gross.
Under your face skin.
It's like, how did you not scream, Gary? That's like, I just wonder like if there's like a bit of like a numbing type thing that whenever the alien does it to it, like I guess he covers his mouth. I guess he just can't talk.
Yeah, he did have his mouth covered.
It's probably already like once he puts it in his skin, it's probably like already in his bones and controlling him completely.
But every time, this never happens. But if someone puts their finger to your lips to shush you,
yeah, don't trust them.
Get out of my face, woman.
Get your hand away from me. So, then we see like while Knowles and Mac are getting some dynamite ready, we just see Blair walking with his arm just in his face, carrying him,
dragging him by the face skin.
It's so silly. I love it.
It's a facelift.
And then Knowles, he's been like relatively smart character this whole movie, just decides, oh, I'm hearing noises. Well, let me just go see what these noises are. It's like, yep. And so he disappears, so we assume he got him. So after Knowles is attacked, Max, like, he's kind of like, oh crap, where did he go? And then all of a sudden we see like the boards underneath the place like start coming up, and it looks like a giant worm is like, yes. It's like Tremors is happening all of a sudden.
Ice Tremors.
And like the creature like pops up, and it kind of looks like it looks more like the dogs again.
Yeah, it's got a bit of everybody.
Yeah, it seems like
it's got the kind of human face sticking out this side.
Yeah.
Dog face coming out this side.
Because it's got, I guess at this point, it's got Gary, Blair, Knowles, and probably some dogs.
Yeah, lots of dogs.
And then so McCready just throws the dynamite. The whole place explodes. You hear the monster screaming. Then you got Mac just like walking away and just kind of sits down. Then Childs comes up.
Wait. Before that, right before he throws the dynamite, he does a sweet jump.
Oh yeah, he
Instead of
does.
just stepping down,
Yeah,
he just he like a dive roll.
Yeah,
it's like he does. You can see him like prepare for it. It's like,
which is funny because the explosion is so huge. I'm like, how far did you jump, dude? You should have been blown up.
That was before he threw it. I think he did the sweet dive and then throws it and runs out the door.
Yeah, you're right. And it's such a sweet explosion. It just looks so beautiful. And so we end with Childs and Mac sitting alone together, just essentially coming to the conclusion that I guess we just got to sit here and see what happens because Childs doesn't know if Mac's won, Mac doesn't know if Childs won.
And this is kind of a romantic scene where Noel somehow has alcohol. Childs, sorry.
Well, Mac has the alcohol because I guess he's a drunk. So I guess he always has at least one bottle.
If you pay attention during the movie, there's beer stacked up everywhere. So, I mean,
there's at least 50,000 crates of alcohol somewhere.
Then there's like, let's just have a few drinks, see where this goes.
Yeah, let's just see what happens. See if we get too lonely or not.
We're gonna get real cold soon.
And then it ends. So, the end of the movie. Who do you think? Do you think either one of them's the Thing? Childs or Mac?
It's got to be Childs.
Yeah, if either one are.
Right.
But it looks like just from I know there's theories thinking that Childs is the Thing because like he takes a drink of the alcohol, but people have the theory that like, oh well,
a monster wouldn't drink alcohol.
Well, that he thinks that people think that it's filled with like gas instead because he's been throwing like Molotov cocktails everywhere, like throughout the building to like catch it on fire. But you kind of see that Mac's gonna take a drink before Childs comes up. But people like
it kind of looked like Mac knew what was in the bottle.
Yeah. It makes it look like just from his face, he seems like, oh dang, I got him. It's Childs. But there's also quotes from John Carpenter he'll be like, what are you talking about? Neither one of them are it. And then sometimes he'll like say, oh no, it's definitely Childs. Like you can just tell, like Mac knew you at that point. So it's like, do you even know, man? But we know it's probably not Mac because there is an alternate ending where they're rescued. I guess only Childs doesn't make it. Mac does, and they do a blood test on Mac, and he clears it, I guess. And then it ends. But he's like, I'd rather have the darker ending and more ambiguous ending.
Yeah.
I think is better.
He does keep his sombrero to the bitter end.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Gotta. I mean, if you're going to be an alien, at least be an alien with a sombrero.
You think instead of being like, let's just wait here to die, they would just start like gathering supplies, building a shelter. I don't know.
Well, I guess
it just took too much out of them. He's just ready to die.
Well, no, they're just like, well, we don't know if either one of us are the alien, so we have to die.
So it doesn't spread.
Oh, I guess they're supposed to just sit there and freeze. But then at the same time, it's like, well, if you sit there and freeze when you're rescued, like, what are you going to do? I mean, I think the conclusion I make is one of them tries to kill each other eventually.
Probably.
Well, only one has the flamethrower, so I guess Childs wins.
Eventually, they run out of beer and flares.
Yeah.
And dynamite. You're like, well, there's nothing left to do.
So, yeah, that's it. Let's fight to the death.
What a fun movie.
I know, it's awesome. Man. It's a masterpiece. This is my favorite horror movie and my favorite alien movie, probably.
I think it's definitely in my top 5 now that I've seen it.
It's definitely probably my top 5 movie ever.
The monster was cool.
Thinking about it. It's just like, I don't know.
So what are your top 5 favorite monsters?
Alien movies.
Monster movies. Alien movies?
Yeah, let's do alien movies.
Aliens.
Well,
only.
I guess obviously Alien.
Alien.
The movie sweet. Alien. E.T., which fun fact, so this movie came out a couple weeks after E.T. This movie bombed.
Ugh.
Like, it made no money. Critics hated it.
Because everyone just got done falling in love with
E.T.
Alien.
Yeah, with E.T. Everybody loved E.T. Also came out the same week as Blade Runner, another movie that bombed.
Oh, no.
And wasn't really well received at the time.
E.T. was gross. His body.
Don't.
It just.
You dare
always want to
talk
touch
bad about
kids. Like,
Well, that's the thing.
with his
He's got a
finger.
really cute. He's got a straight up cute. He's really cute from neck up, and then you see the rest of them when he's walking around. It's like, ugh, it's like a bunch of turds stacked on top of each other. It's so gross. Ugh. But yeah, like, man, critics like ripped this thing. They thought it was like stupid. They just thought, oh, it's nothing but special effects. There's no story. It's all bad. No character has like a backstory. And I'm like, these are all things that make it great. Sometimes we don't need like a gigantic, like huge story that's like too complicated. It's like a whodunit. Like, I mean, I guess if you made a horror, I always feel like critics have a hard time with horror movies anyways. And it's like, people are so, I don't know, it's hard to please people with horror movies. Like, some people are like, no, this movie, it doesn't scare me at all. Or it's like.
And some people like really bad horror movies.
Yeah. Yeah.
With really bad effects and really bad acting.
Exactly.
And they love it.
It's like, I understand. I don't know. I don't get it. It's like, how could you watch this movie and just be like, bad? It's like, what are you talking about?
I feel like that's Siskel and Ebert back in the day. Were they doing that?
Yeah, I think. I know he has a review where he's just like, meh.
Yeah,
enjoy it.
They're both sitting there watching movies together, like 10-second clips of movies, and they just
bad,
but good.
2 thumbs down.
Can you just say something, guys?
Yeah.
Stop with the thumbs. I don't understand.
But so I think this movie would have benefited, obviously not coming out like 2 weeks after E.T., but also coming out like in the winter. This should have been a winter movie. But instead they came out in the summer. But anyways, back to my list. So Alien, E.T., The Thing. It's one of my top 5s.
Okay, does The Thing count as one alien?
Yeah, it's one alien. I think it's kind of like a hive mind type alien.
Okay.
I'd assume. Or maybe they all just know to work together as the common goal. Because it does say every like cell is like an individual animal. And then obviously Star Wars. Ooh, any of them. Well, any of the originals. Except for the 3rd original. I don't like the Ewoks. They're cute, but I don't like them. They spend too much time in the movie.
Yeah.
And what would be my 5th favorite alien movie? Here, let me think. You say yours.
Okay. So I'm a big fan of Alien and Predator. Big Predator fan. And okay, what about, we said no monsters, but what about the movie The Darkness? When they're in the hospital and like they open another plane of existence and those dudes come out. Are they aliens or are they just
I don't
monsters?
think I've ever seen that.
It just counts as aliens. They like, have those huge knives. And they're like, anyway.
I'm gonna have to look this movie
Alien
up.
Predator.
I've heard of the movie. I just don't remember it. I'm sure I watched it.
Maybe I got the title wrong. That's good. That happens. Alien Predator, Alien versus Predator.
Just name all 8 Predator movies.
Insert Alien. I really like the one they did with Prometheus.
Oh yeah.
That was kind of sweet.
With like the giant guys.
That was cool.
Oh, that scene has one of the dope. Like, it's like every time I watch that movie, I'm like, oh, this movie's good. I don't really care for this movie. It's like it switches every time, but man, nothing is better than like the alien like abortion scene where like she gets in that tube and it cuts out like the squid alien like inside her stomach. Yes. It's so good.
That was awesome. What about that one where they're in space and the ship is flying into the dimension to hell?
Oh, Event Horizon. Yeah.
I fucking love that movie.
Yeah.
I don't know if does that count as Alien or is that Demon?
I don't know. I guess we can count it as Alien. I don't know. Maybe the devil's an alien. Who knows?
It probably is.
It just
anyway, those are mine.
Flies on his like pitchfork throughout the space like a witch.
Completely forgot about one of my favorite dumb, stupid movies ever. Was the Stephen King one with when all the
Dreamcatcher?
No, when all the electrical appliances came to life and killed everyone.
Oh crap! Isn't like Needful Things or something like that?
No.
Oh,
the big goblin truck.
Oh, Maximum Overdrive. I loved that movie as a kid. Emilio Estevez, isn't that? Yes, dude, that truck. I spent a lot of time in my youth thinking about that truck. And then like the lawnmower chasing the kid.
The lady hanging out the window with the electric bread knife or something.
Yeah, it's like, well, just let go of the bread knife. Like, what are you doing?
The Coke, the soda machine.
Yes, attacking that one kid, and it like hits that one guy in like the crotch. I'll say my fifth one's Cloverfield.
Oh, that one is so good.
I obsessed over that movie when it came out. I got involved in the viral marketing. I spent so much time on my dial-up internet just trying to like load up like the websites that they made for it.
That is a sweet.
Yeah, I guess that'd be my top 5.
Oh, I mean, fun.
Cloverfield is probably a give or take, but definitely the Xenomorph. Could go either Aliens or Alien. Those 2 movies are both masterpieces. Then E.T., he's my boy. We hang on the reg. The Thing,
E.T.
we don't hang.
Jesse.
Yeah, and Cloverfield.
It's like
and anything from Star Wars, pretty much.
Yeah.
As long as it's not the prequels. Those look bad.
Well, that's been it for this episode. Jesse, do you have anything to plug?
No, just come back here for the next week, which is crap. What's our next movie? Labyrinth. That's our next movie. Also, let me try to think of my Letterboxd account. It'd be cool to get people to follow me on that, where I log movies, and I'm getting really good this year about doing it. Every movie I see, I do. I don't know I guess just look up Jesse James. D-A Jesse James.
Nice.
No I. How about you? Got any plugs?
Yeah, really, I do. My wife's business, World on a String Travel. It's great. She's works with a travel agency.
She works with travel.
She's really great with travel.
But yeah, I guess other than that, that's it. I'm Jesse.
I'm Jason.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Don't play with your thing.
Yeah. Nailed that in, Jason. Jason really killed that one.